We have a very special guest in studio today. He is the owner of Launch It IT Services, the great and powerful Brennan McCloud. Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
It's
man.
my pleasure.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. It's funny because like you and I, kind of knew each other for, a few years before we actually met in person.
Yeah.
Through Angelo. And it was cool that, finally got to, meet each other and then, and you're a member up here now. So it's awesome. Yeah.
It's been cool.
Yeah, man. We're happy to have you. So
Putting faces to names.
yeah, absolutely. So what, let's, for the people out there that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Name's Brennan. I'm the owner of Launch IT Services. We are a nationwide technology integrator. What that means is we help people implement different programs, software, or hardware into their business. Essentially any problem they have, technology likely can solve it, and we likely can help implement that for them. So my father, Mizzou grad, just moved back to St. Louis about 18 months ago, and just excited to get connected with the people moving and grooving like you two.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You were in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
So what brought you out there?
So I spent 3 years in Dallas, Texas. I was a regional manager for a big solar company. And they asked me to join their executive team in Arizona. So we moved down there and spent 3 years doing that. And the business ended up getting sold in 2021, which is when we started Launch IT Services. But yeah, man, we were down there just to do business, and solar's really happening down there.
Yeah, I would imagine in Arizona, it's probably got to be huge.
And Texas.
Yeah. Big markets for them. And it was a great experience, a good time when I was in solar. It was an awesome time. Not a lot of the, tax credit stuff that's going on now, getting repealed or getting pulled back. So it was a great time to sell solar then.
Yeah, I know we got a few people up here. There was a company that was in here that did solar, and he was part of my BNI group. And I know that he was pretty successful with it for a little bit. But
Yeah.
I don't know what they left. I don't know how things are going for them now. But I know on our side, like looking at solar, I feel like it makes more sense for commercial than it does residential.
I would agree. And I think it would be interesting because from our side in the solar industry, you hear a lot of the salespeople talk about how it doesn't affect the home resale or how it, a lot of those things. I'd be curious to hear like what you guys actually see in the field, because people in our industry are told what their sales leaders tell them, right?
My favorite thing that I've heard is that that you can transfer the lien to the new seller or the new buyer.
Yeah.
And that's not the case.
Yeah, you're stuck with that bill.
Yeah. You got to pay that off at closing.
Are you seeing people having to cut checks to do that at closing, or?
Yep. So, because I believe the terms on those are pay it off in like 25 years or something like that. Most people aren't living in their homes for that long these days. Like if you've got somebody that you really truly are planning on staying in your home for that long, which is very rare, it might make sense. But at the end of the day, it's costing more people because now when they go to sell the house, that lien has to get paid. That lien doesn't transfer. And I doubt the person buying the house isn't going to want to take that on either.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the pitch, right? Or at least what they would tell us is that, you can call in and have it transferred. They have to qualify for it. But the reality is when you're going to purchase a $500,000 asset or something, like to then tack on a $50,000 additional bill on top of that, I think it,
Yeah.
But it's all a talk track, I guess.
Yeah, but you're not going to have an electric bill.
Yeah, ever.
Ever.
Except for that.
And actually, they'll pay you.
So here's the one thing.
That's a big misconception.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's the one thing that would make it worth people is if you're in a place and you get so much solar and you can store it up and then you can sell out the energy and electricity that you're creating through the solar power. But Ameren, they take it. And they pay you like a very small percentage on it. And so basically you're just helping the local energy companies make more money, save on what they're producing.
Yeah, you're taking stress off their grid. They pay what's called avoided cost, which in and of itself sounds they're just trying to avoid their own costs and doing that and not really giving you what they're ultimately making. So they're buying it from you at 2 or 3 cents and they're selling it at 13. I mean, that's a great deal for them, right?
Absolutely.
So, Yeah, it's interesting. And really right now where the space is, a lot of people are doing what are called PPA or power purchase agreements or leases, which I think is even wreaks more havoc
Really?
for the house market, right? Because
Yeah.
now they don't own the asset. It's not actually theirs. The company is just putting it on their roof to pay them, to essentially provide them the power at a guaranteed rate. But when they go to resell their house every 7 years, right?
Mhm.
I mean, who wants to take over a leased system on their roof that, maybe it's good for the power, but long term, those were some of the little things that kind of pulled me away from, obviously the business getting sold, but I could have moved into, the company that
Mhm.
bought our company, and just wasn't, those were the little things like that that really kept me from going all in on that industry. Um, so I didn't, I think the end consumer, it's not regulated. It's a
Right.
little bit like the Wild West,
Mhm.
and, just doesn't necessarily feel good
No.
at the end of the day. I want to be able to sleep and
Right.
rest my head easy with my kids, knowing I'm not
Mhm.
doing anyone wrong,
Right.
which I think a lot of solar companies have put people in that position. I mean, there's a large number that have gone out of business in the last couple of years trying to keep up with everything going on in the industry. And it's left a lot of homeowners in bad spots. So do you see that a lot in Missouri though? It's not a
Not
huge
no.
market
I
up
mean,
here.
I think I've sold 1 or 2 houses maybe that had solar
Yeah.
in my career, which is, not very many,
And the
so.
one thing you don't talk about, and this probably isn't in that talk track either, but new roofs.
Mhm.
You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
So I had a client buy a house that had an old roof that had to have it replaced, and the roof got damaged in the storms that came through earlier this year, and yeah, I mean they had to pay, I think it was like $13,000 for them to come out and take them off and put them back on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Detach reset is a hell of a business.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And so, and like, here's the thing too, is, now these people had owned it and paid it all off. So, I mean, yeah, if you're buying a house that has it, it's not a bad idea because you're walking in with no cost for it and you're immediately walking into a benefit, but it doesn't increase the value of the homes. We had an appraiser. That was another thing they said,
That's
it's
what
going to
you
help
hear.
your
It's like
value go up.
I think there was a Zillow study that said like 4.2% on average, but the sample size was purely out of California.
Right. Then so we had an appraiser on the show last year and we asked him that question and he's like, no.
Yeah. In practice, we
Yeah.
don't see that.
Right. So,
But
what made you make the switch from solar to IT?
yeah, so when they brought me into Arizona, one of kind of the key things I was tasked with was building out a call center.
Mhm.
So from, one side of that, part of my background was in lead generation, and obviously like when I was selling and running teams, we had 50 plus sales reps and managers that were working underneath us in our network. And one of the things I realized is that a lot of these guys have been with us a long time. They get really tired of knocking doors, which is all that we did. And so I dove into how do I start generating leads outside of that? That's what led them to ask me to come join the executive team and help build out those internal teams to generate leads internally, from social media or from paid ads. And then have a call center to, set those appointments and send those to our sales reps in the field. And in that process, I learned a ton about IT hardware, all the software and everything that goes into building out the operations behind the revenue. And kind of fell in love with that, really just what the process is. What are the steps of your sales process, of your marketing process? How can we put juice on that? Like, how can we put, some fuel on the flame and really help accelerate that or automate some of the redundant stuff that happens in those processes? And in doing that, I don't know that it was necessarily like something, it's like it almost chooses you at certain times. Where after the business was sold, I had, some competitors or, some people I knew in the industry reach out and say, hey, it went very well there. Can you come kind of help us tighten up our systems and do that stuff? And started out with a bunch of solar companies and has expanded into home services and other construction, commercial services businesses that we've worked with, and really just enjoying the the nature of how every day is different. Every project's different. Nothing's, and maybe to my own detriment that, it's not super like productized, if you will. It is very custom work that we're doing, but I think that's what keeps me engaged in it.
Everything's different. It's
different every time. It's a new problem to solve. I think I just like solving problems that people are facing. It's like a third party view on it plus technology can really solve a lot of problems that people have in their business. So
especially nowadays. I mean, I'm sure you see it. Like, how fast are things constantly changing?
At an incredible rate, even more so now with AI. I mean, the difference between now and 3 months ago it's
wild.
Light years.
Yeah.
Used to have, images with people with arms coming out of people's heads and
right. Oh man, I'm fooled by a Sora video every day.
All the time.
All the time.
And
like, I mean, that's why I sent a buddy of mine actually posted something this morning, and it was a picture of one of his work trucks on cinder blocks.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And it was just like, welp, ... And then like I messaged him. I was like, dude, what the fuck? He goes, I made it with AI. And I was like, you fucker. Like, I was like, dude, I swear every day I'm duped by something.
Well, like the new trend that's going around right now that I've seen it is like, it's this husband and wife that are pretty famous on social media, and the wife plays the whole like just clueless wife role to a T, but she's very, very smart, and she does it just to fuck with her husband. Mm-hmm. And she took a photo, was like, hey, this guy just showed up at the house claiming to be your uncle, and it's just a very lifelike like AI person that now she's just putting into different like, hey, and so I let him in, and then it was a picture like, hey, like picture of him standing in the kitchen and texting it to her husband, and he's like, what the fuck? That's not my uncle. Who is
get him out of my the fucking house.
And then another one, and like it's like a whole string of messages and pictures that she's sending him, but like it looks so real.
Yeah.
Like you never would have like if you wouldn't have known that it was AI, you would.
Oh, I mean, if the little Sora thing didn't pop up, I wouldn't know. I mean, dude, the movie industry is an industry that's in fucking trouble, in my opinion.
There's a lot of industry.
I mean, a ton
trouble.
of them, but
and I think it opens up a lot of humanity long-term based questions, right? Like, how do you discern between what's real and fake with AI?
Well, that too, and like the fraud that can come from it.
Yeah, and there has been massive amounts of fraud, right? I think Indonesia just had a $50 million breach. They're all over the place. You're seeing AI is, causing major problems for identity and verification, stuff. Because a lot of major banks still, if you're, going to move $100,000 or $250,000, they're going to call you and they want a voice recording of it. Well, now in the AI world, like it is perfect.
We did a video with him where I'm throwing boxes at him, and we changed my voice to sound like Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Come in your face, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
And that's, I think how we verify our humanity digitally and online moving forward is going to be a really big thing. And how we do that in a way that isn't extremely privacy infringing, right? Like I don't want to necessarily give my ID to go onto Facebook. I don't want, to have something tracking my biometric markers to tell that I'm human.
Right.
So it exposes a really interesting intellectual problem, which is like, how do we actually prove humanity without having privacy? Like, how do we protect our privacy, but also prove our humanity, right? Which is, I think, something that someone much smarter than me should probably think about, but it is, going to be a major thing with Sora. And I mean, imagine when that watermark comes off of Sora, which they will ultimately sell something 100%. To allow for.
Yeah, there's going to be, that's probably like the free version, but you got to pay the $50 a month or whatever for the paid Sora one, and then that one doesn't get the watermark. Yeah. Then you can really fool everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're...
Well, just think of the political shit that they could pull with that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest fear.
Right. That's a huge fear.
Heading into an election in a couple of years, right? We got midterms coming up. Yeah. It's, and there was some legislation around this when AI voice calling first came out. For that reason, it was right near the last election, and they've made it TCPA. It's not regular, like it is not allowed to use AI voice calling and robocalling they've categorized it the same way to protect against that. But I'll tell you what, I don't know that it's helped. I think I get more AI calls and robocalls. I get tons of calls that just call me and then no one's on the line and they hang up. And it's like almost like they're trying to get your voice.
Well, I saw something, I forget who sent it. It was either in our AU group chat or something on social media, but it was like, how much longer is it going to be before we have to do one of those CAPTCHAs before we even send a text message to authorize that we're actual humans sending this text or email?
Yeah. No, I think, and it's, it's and there's a whole problem beyond that, which is quantum computers are coming and all of the current CAPTCHA, all the current keys, and I'm going to get nerdy on you, but
no, go for
it. All the current, keys that exist behind CAPTCHA, behind OAuth 2 are not quantum resistant, right? Quantum computers will break those very, very quickly.
What's a quantum computer?
Oh, it is a computer that uses quantum computing, which they say is, some exponential amount of what the current computing power is. It's just going to allow computers to do things 3,000 times faster. So if it took an hour to do a breach before, or 10 hours or 100 hours, I mean, you can imagine it's just increased speed. Now, I won't sit here and act like a physicist trying to explain quantum computers to you because I don't fully understand. And the truth is, you listen to even the experts, they don't even understand. They seem to think that they are getting compute from an alternate dimension. Like that's the only explainable way that I've heard, that they're able to make this advancement. So what the technology is behind it, beyond my pay grade, but what I do know is that when that is coming, there was some new regulations or guidance around information security and post quantum computing era and what that needs to look like. And they just announced that at the end of last year. So all these companies are going to be moving to cryptography or keys that are quantum resistant. So with that comes an entire need to not only verify humanity, but do that in a way that then spits out a key that is quantum resistant, right?
Well, where does like a VPN come into play on something like that?
VPN is just your, it's like where you're physically
where you're
at or what network you're connecting to. So it's like I can show that I'm in Romania or wherever, and that's more like anonymity, which is something that I think back to the privacy thing. I think verifying humanity with anonymity is important. So like someone theoretically using a VPN should still be able to verify humanity without you even knowing where they're at or who they are. And maybe, that's my opinion, but I think that's a problem to be solved. And, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't working on something for it, but
I was just going to ask you, is that stuff that you're dealing with?
Something I'm looking at. Again, there's this new guidance that's out, and there's a couple new algorithms, one called dilithium crystallization, or dilithium crystals is the program that generates these cryptography keys. And I think that plus an economic proof of humanity is the solution, in my opinion. Right? I say this, I put this out there to try to get an idea of what other people think about it, but it's like the banks have already spent, in my background, when I graduated college, I worked at Merrill Lynch for 3 years. My degree was in finance. These banks, when I was there, they spent $2 or $3 trillion to roll out KYC, which is know your client. And its entire infrastructure of knowing your client, verifying that they're a person. And so my idea is to piggyback off of that existing system. And if someone has a physical bank card, you can almost guarantee that bank's looked at their ID, they've checked their social, they've, looked at the credit, like whatever. That's a human, right? And so if we can use that to kind of anonymously, like, hey, I've got this bank card, obviously, we're a human. I think that's a first step, but I think that gets beat pretty quickly in the next 5 to 10 years.
By what?
By AI and quantum. Yeah. It's going to be an ever evolving process, and, or, at its most extreme, potentially humans just say, fuck it. Like we're never going to be protected. Yeah. It's like, I mean, think of it this way. It's like there's a lot of people out there, especially in the IT space, that are like super duper security and privacy focused. And while I may sound like that right now, to be honest, like I think they have all the info.
They have everything.
China has everything. The U.S. government has everything about me. They know regardless of whatever I put in place.
Yeah, they know every phone call you've ever been on. They know every text message, every email. They've got it all. Like they have everything. Like the fact that people think that even like, what's the Signal? Like even you think Signal's encrypted, but like there's that story that someone reached out to Tucker Carlson when they found out he was going to be interviewing Putin, and they're like, hey, we read your Signal messages, and it's like, oh, I thought that those were those were encrypted and no one could see those, but like they knew,
And you hear it about Telegram and some of the other stuff too. Like
they can get their finger in anything.
They can get there. They want to. And there's backdoors a lot of times that will be required. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's two ways you could look at it. It's like we need to lock this down and figure it out, or we just need to give up.
Just submit to the machine and
say whatever.
This is our leader.
We're living in iRobot.
Yeah, I mean, but there's like all these. I mean, there's so many fears with AI, with the replacing people's jobs, but I mean, I don't know. I have a pretty optimistic look on things, and I don't know. That might just be my way of just feeling better about it. But I think that as a humanity, we've gone through so many different revolutions in the past. Like there's always been something that comes along and revolutionizes everything. Like when the car, when we kind of switched from the horse and buggy to a car, or everybody was a farmer, and then the Industrial Revolution came, or then
the assembly line,
the internet, like we thought, people thought the internet wasn't going to be a thing, and, email was stupid. But now it's like in 2025, if you don't have a smartphone and you don't use email,
I mean, let's be real. Email is still fucking stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
if you guys could stop sending me emails, that'd
be great. Right?
Great. Yeah. I mean, the amount of
shoot
emails
me a text.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell people, if you send me an important email or something, please just text me and let me know for it.
Yeah.
Because like I check my emails multiple times a day, but like I get so many that it's hundreds. Like hundreds, and it's like I can't read every single one of these every day.
I think I have like 30,000 unopened emails on my phone.
I was gonna say type A people
hate my phone.
Oh, me too.
I've got 18,816 just unread Gmail.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I'm the same way. My wife looks at my phone. She's like, "How do you have 400 unread text messages?"
Yeah,
I'm like, well, they're like stupid ones that like I just don't even like. It's a confirmed showing. Like I don't need to. Okay, I forgot to open it.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. I get so many stupid messages.
Hey, is your wife the type to keep them all at zero? No red bubbles.
Oh,
on
yeah,
her
no
phone?
red bubbles. No red bubbles for sure.
I mean, that's the thing is like, let me look. Oh, it's on silent. So I cleaned this out this morning. I haven't looked at my email yet. So since I cleaned it out this morning, I have 202 emails, just work emails.
Just today.
Just today.
Just today.
And I'm sitting at 21,000. That's just one mailbox. I can switch over, but 21,000 unread emails in my personal stuff. So I'm like,
Nobody. I mean, if I wanted to have a clean inbox, that would just have to be what I focused on all day.
All day.
Yeah.
Like
all day.
I would just do nothing other than open emails.
Or just be better about not signing up for stupid BS.
Yes, I've got several.
Like I'll make a new one. I'm not going to sign up for anything, and then next thing you know, you're getting 200 emails.
Well, that's the thing is I've got two personal emails. One that's just for personal email, and the other one that's just for subscriptions.
Yeah, I've got an old bullshit one that I use for, if I sign up for something that I, whatever.
Yeah.
Just so everything goes there, and keep my work ones somewhat clean. But even those ones get fucking gunked up with shit too. Like especially with, my phone number and email is fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
That's part of my business. But so it's just, I'm
just getting
part
hit
of
up.
it, just getting hit up constantly. But,
I will say the greatest thing that Apple did was show us when we're getting spam calls.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
I mean, I get so many of those. I get at least like 20 a day. It's absurd. And it's always the same thing. You answer the phone, you hear that little boop, bloop, and it's like that's
my cue to hang up.
Yeah, that's my cue to hang up every time. I'm like,
you think they'd figure that out. That was
I know what this is. I used to do a lot of cold calling. That's the dialer switching over because you got multiple lines dialing, and I'm the one that picked up, so it's going boop boop to you, and there's always like a 3 or 4 second delay before they're like, "Hello, Mr. Fagas," and I'm like, it's like,
"This call being recorded."
Yeah, that call being recorded for I'm just like, oh god, but it's part of just the world we live in now. But
yeah, for anyone who still has that, there's a couple lines of code you throw in your dialer, and it will stop doing that. And
really,
it will get people to answer. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't have noise when you answer the phone, right? Like, I imagine the vast majority of people hang up on that.
Yeah.
So I would say if you want to improve your throughput rate on calls, take that off your dialer
for sure.
It's a pretty easy fix.
Yeah.
Now, is that something you can just go in and fix on like a Mojo or a Red X? Like you can go in there and do that, or do you have to have like your own dialer?
Depending on the program, a lot of them will have a feature to do that. Like a lot of the folks that we see in solar and in some of the other industries we work with, they use a dialer called Vici Dial, which is an open source dialer that you can kind of layer stuff on top of. You can build a front end on it, and it's fully customizable, so you can take out those beeps and take out stuff like that. But yeah, like I don't know about Mojo specifically, but
that's the one I have the most experience
Ready
with.
Mode, I think you certainly can. But yeah, I mean, even I know a lot of people who still use Vici Dial that leave the beep on.
The beep on. Take it off, dude.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the quickest and fastest optimizations I would make, probably.
Yeah, because you're hanging up immediately when you hear
100%.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And then the recording thing is always a little off-putting for people, I feel like, which isn't necessary everywhere. And it is 100% necessary. Actually, one of the reasons I was brought up to the executive team at the solar company was that the guy before me caught a very big federal DNC lawsuit so they called someone, that was on the DNC, that person complained. When that happens, they get to look through all of your call recordings, all your books. And what they realized was that they weren't disclosing in 2-party disclosure states where you have to tell people you're recording. They weren't saying that they were recording, and they got sued for millions and millions of dollars. And so I came in behind that, had to be very sensitive to those things. And continue to be. And there are people still just risking it all on this stuff. And I'm telling you, like, I've seen multiple. I actually have a client right now in the middle of one, nothing to do with our stuff, but he's in the middle of a federal DNC, or not a DNC, a TCPA violation case for texting and calling this guy that was on the DNC 1 and 2. They texted him without consent, and so he's trying to put together a class on them. That happens, and it's like I hear a lot of people like, they're not worried about me.
Yeah.
And this isn't a small business, probably a $50 or $75 million a year solar business, but there's bigger fish to fry than that, right? And they're still chasing these people down. And really what it is the guy they called and texted, he's a professional litigator, or he's a professional plaintiff. All he does is partner with this law firm and just bait people to do that to him. And then they sue them and they get class actions, and I'm sure he gets a kickback. But yeah, I mean, they're spending lots and lots of money to do this. I just got pulled into discovery on it. So it's it's out there. It happens. So word of caution to the people. If you're out there ripping text message campaigns in bulk, maybe think twice.
Man, I should probably think about that with my Friday text messages that I send out.
I feel like yours are all to like realtors.
Yeah, that's all it is, and it's all people that I know.
B2B totally cool, right? It's the business to consumer that is the issue, problem. Right? Like for you, Zach, your info is publicly on the internet because you're putting it out there to do business. Someone can call you, right? Sure. Whereas, you call on someone's home phone or their cell phone or texting them, that's where you can get in trouble. And again, it's not the normal person. It's someone that knows about this and they know what the fines are. It's like, don't quote me. I think it's like $1,000 to $10,000 an occurrence or something like that. So when they come in and they open up your books, and they're like, well, you didn't disclose that you were recording to 30,000 people. All of a sudden, that's a really massive multi-million-dollar lawsuit. So
if I'm calling and I'm not recording, though, is it as big of a deal?
As long as they're not on the DNC list, right? So if you're scrubbing your list and you're good, right? totally good. If you're not recording, don't have to disclose, obviously. But if you are, Missouri's not a two-party consent state. So you can record anything without telling the other person. But California, Florida, Massachusetts, a lot of the more blue states are two-party consent states. And then Florida with consumer protections around old, retirees and stuff like that. Is why they have that. So,
okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, for sure.
So much that goes into it now.
Yeah. And just, being thoughtful around, especially as Pat, you have a big team of guys that probably are out calling and doing stuff like that. Just not that you have to
there's like
be overly crazy about it, but just being aware of the risks of it.
Well, the only people that my team calls are past clients. Yeah. So we've already
you have an established business relationship that person's totally good to call.
Yeah. My team, they handle all the refis. My business partner and I do all the purchases. So we're bringing in the new business and then they're going to be on the back end like, hey, got a refinance opportunity, things like that. So other than that, they're not out. And really the only cold calling that I do is calling real estate agents or financial advisors whose information, their businesses, they're out there.
Yeah.
So it's not like
what is the reception of that?
Terrible.
Is it? What about the financial advisor side?
Most of the time I call it's they don't have their cell phones out there. It's just their office.
Yeah.
And I get met with the
gatekeeper.
Yeah, the gatekeeper.
Yeah. The gatekeeper.
Unless like I said, I try anytime most of the time the financial advisors that I reach out to are people that I've met in person.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have their cell phone numbers. And so I'll give them a call or things like that, or like asking my clients like, hey, who do you use as a financial advisor? I love being connected with them and having those conversations. And usually I'll have them just like, hey, see if it's okay if you can with your financial advisor, if you can share his information and then go that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually how I get it. And it's not ever really a cold call for financial advisors because there's some sort of connection that was made.
What's the angle there for you?
So financial advisors, well, you got people that are trusting you with you're trusting this person with your money and to get you to retirement. Mm-hmm. That's one of the most trusted relationships you can have. Uh-huh. And so if I can be that financial advisor's preferred lender, like that's already built in trust. And if you get a really good financial advisor who, let's just say they've got a book of business of 500 clients, numbers wise, at least one or two, maybe three might be buying, especially come refi time.
Yeah. That
could be another big thing because ultimately the way, and like I talk to a lot of my clients when I refinance them, I'm like, hey, you're saving a good chunk of money. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a financial advisor, now's a good time to either you can put that money back into your mortgage, but once it's back in there, you can't really do anything with it unless you're selling your house or refinancing. Obviously you want to get this mortgage paid off, but let's be real. Most people are always going to have a mortgage until they get closer to retirement.
Right.
So it's like, let's put that money to work elsewhere. How can we get it and still be somewhat liquid? Mm-hmm. And so I'll get them connected with different financial advisors that way. Mm-hmm. So the referrals there can be pretty back and forth on stuff like that. And so that's the biggest thing because like I said, and most people that have financial advisors are doing pretty well and probably pretty easy clients to work with and get through the process and just making it make sense and educating them on it. So, there's a lot of good reasons to partner up with financial advisors. Yeah. That's one thing.
Same on my side too. Yeah. I've gotten dozens of leads from my financial advisor over the years. Oh yeah. Him and I have a great relationship. We're good buddies. We train jiu-jitsu together and we're good friends. And yeah, he sent me, I've helped him buy his house and I've helped him, he's probably sent me at least a couple dozen of his people over the years. Wow. So it's been great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I was with Merrill Lynch when I was an FA and we were in bed with Bank of America, so we would have to refer all that business out to Joe Blow down the street that we had no relationship with.
And what sucks about that is,
and Bank of America
is terrible.
Big conservative monster beast of a business, of a bank.
I just have had several, actually this year, I think I've had two of them, of people close with Bank of America, and it's just like
nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
There's one company that's done really well with that. And they've developed their own internal mortgage company. That's Stifel.
Oh, yeah.
Stifel's done a good job because Stifel They have, obviously they're a big investment company.
Yeah.
But they developed their own mortgage company, and those advisors or loan officers that they have are sectioned off into regions, and they're like constantly traveling to just continue to build those relationships with those advisors. I mean, if you go and look at the average production of a Stifel loan officer, I mean, they're closing hundreds of $1 million in loans a year.
Yeah.
Just because they're doing all of these things for these very wealthy people all over the country.
Right.
And massive loan amounts and all that. Cause I mean, Stifel's a pretty reputable name within that.
Do you work with anyone at Stifel?
I can't get in there because they've got their mortgage company already. That's got each financial advisor is already partner. Like, you go in and are given a list of financial advisors that you're to represent, and it's your job to build those reputations and build that reputation with those financial advisors to get that business.
It's funny
and then they offers like super big discounts when it comes to rate. Comes to rates when you're with a Stifel financial advisor and then use a Stifel loan officer. Yeah, I mean their rates you can't. No one can touch them. No one can touch it.
So I did my first mortgage on my house that I bought in U City, 2015 or 16. Through Stifel, one of my fraternity brothers, Dalton Hilleman, his
Charlie, his dad.
Charlie's his dad.
So my mom and Charlie used to work together a long time ago, and that's who. When I first got in the business, that's who she didn't want me to come to Cornerstone. She wanted me to go to work there. I'm like, I'm not a suit and tie guy, Mom. Yeah. Like, I'm not going in there every single day. That's not who I am. Like, I wouldn't be able to do this if I did that. Like, it's a little bit, it's treated like
more structured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they show up to the office every day.
Oh yeah.
Suit and tie.
Suit and tie. Yeah. I mean, they're like financial advisors, but on the mortgage side. But Charlie is one of the top producing.
He's a killer.
Oh yeah. I mean, hundreds of millions in business a year. And so
Dalton's a killer too.
Yeah. So that's who my mom wanted me to go and work for Charlie.
Yeah.
When I first got in the business, because her and Charlie have known each other for decades.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He was a baseball player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played CBC.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I'm talking about Charlie.
Oh, Charlie was. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever, other than in passing and at fraternity stuff, met Charlie too much, but. Yeah, Dalton was a pretty good ball player himself too.
Was he?
But it's funny. The partner I worked for at Merrill, she is now at Stifel.
Okay.
So she took her whole $300 or $400 million book and moved it over to Stifel. So she probably got sick of Bank of America's crap too.
Probably.
Yeah. Because, when you have business owners and you're dealing with
and that's
commercial banking plus the mortgage.
Plus Charlie helped establish the mortgage business for Stifel. He helped start it.
Yeah.
He is a genius he's incredible when it comes to mortgages.
Really?
Yeah, he knows his shit, and he developed that whole program for him. Yeah.
What kept you from going there?
The biggest thing was the freedom.
Just the environment and the culture.
I mean, that's not even so much the culture. Like, I mean, I could have put on a suit and tie and done that, but I don't want to be 9 to 5. Like they want you there 9 to 5. And I like the freedom to be able to work from here, to basically do my own thing. I mean, this is what I wear for work,
Sure.
and just, it's comfy. And I like to wear hats. As much shit as these guys give me for having nice hair, I love to wear hats.
This motherfucker's got beautiful head of hair and he's always got a hat on.
Yeah.
It's the baseball.
Yeah. I've got the reason to wear a hat, Pat.
But that, and then, compensation. So now, I probably, because of the loan amounts and the sizes that they're doing, I probably would make more money there. But the compensation per loan is cheaper, and I like where we're at because I'm helping. They're working with people that know that they're going to get a house. I like helping people that don't know that they could qualify to purchase a house. Most of my business, people will call, I don't think I'm going to qualify. I'm like, actually, no, here, we can get you into something like this, and then we do, and they're the happiest people. I feel like I'm just,
the reward is greater for you.
Correct.
Yeah. I like that. And you're making a difference,
Yeah.
It's like
difference in people's lives that need it.
At Stifel, they could go to Stifel. They probably go for the rate, discount, but it's they could go wherever.
Yeah.
And probably get a great deal.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I go up against a Stifel loan officer, I'm like, especially if I know that they bank with Stifel, I'm like, I'm not even, there's
I can't touch it.
Good luck. Yeah. Congratulations. you're wealthy.
There's something to be said about that ecosystem, right? Like having all of that in one place to kind of keep your customer completely surrounded by all services. It's kind of
Right.
it's what
It's
they did
smart.
at Bank of America Merrill Lynch
Yeah.
too, right? Like commercial plus plus wealth
Yeah.
management plus, you know, all the mortgage and auto and all the other stuff. It's like they can really put some claws into you and keep you around for a long time. So
yeah. No, like I said, it's a great company. It's just they have a very small mortgage division, but their mortgage division is
just pumping.
Yeah. So
it's cool.
But
so you and your wife started Launch It together?
We did not. So I started Launch IT in 2018. A little bit before we ended up selling. I was just doing some consulting and some one-off client stuff, but 2021 went full into that. My wife was an elementary school teacher, so she taught a self-enclosed classroom of highly gifted, IQ tested above 130 children.
Wow. Cool.
And so she
My
did
wife's
that.
got one of those right now. She's special ed, but she's got this
Really?
one kid that I think she said the other day he walked up to the whiteboard and just started doing multiples of 13, like 13 times 1, 13 times 2, like all the way up to like 20 something.
Oh,
She
wow.
goes, and this kid's like 5 or 6.
Holy cow.
And she's like, holy shit, this kid's smarter than me.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's really how it is. And so yeah, she did that for a long time. And you know, I think she, as much as she loved it, it's a lot. Like we ask a lot of our teachers today.
Mhm.
You know, they're there 8 hours a day watching your kids. And then what people don't see is they have to come home, do all the planning, do all the grading. You know, I mean, it was a 12+ hour day, but she ended up, you know, going away from that. She stayed home with the kids for a couple of years. And then for whatever reason, just not for whatever reason, she's a doer, right? She wants to be doing stuff. She wants to make an impact, and she just couldn't sit idle and just be the stay-at-home mom, you know, that I think everyone wishes to be, or, you know, a lot of women, I think, you know, idealize wanting that. And in practice, she thought she wanted that and found out that she absolutely didn't. And so it took her maybe a year after that to, like, you know, she started kind of helping out in the business. And over the last year or 18 months has really gone full into the point where she runs 99% of the fulfillment on the business. So
wow.
sit down with the client, do all the strategy, get a good plan in place. We'll document that really well. And then I hand it off to her and her team, and they do all the fulfillment. They meet with the clients, you know, I'll jump on and meet with them, as well. But, you know, by and large, she handles pretty much everything from that point on, which was a huge unlock for me. Right. I had tried hiring tons and tons of people. Gosh, probably have gone through 30 or 40 people in the business at this point, like just trying different people, different roles, different things to try to take stuff off my plate. And, I think it, you know, if I reflect and am honest about it, it's really a shortcoming of mine. But the only person that I've been able to really effectively train to take over the most stuff is my wife, because I don't know if it's because she has no choice but to hear me out, or, you know, what it is, but she seems, we can communicate very well, I guess. Right. And where, maybe that's not a super skill of mine with others. I think I tend to take for granted that, you know, people know things that they don't, and I don't explain them as thoroughly. And so it was really cool to bring her in because we can communicate. Now she is as proficient, if not more proficient than me at these things. And she's a teacher. So now she can teach our people, right? Which is super helpful for me, right? Because that kind of stuff takes a lot of energy out of me, and she draws energy from it. So
It's awesome.
yeah, it worked out really
Just
well.
worked out perfect that the person you needed was sleeping right next to you every
Yeah,
night, you know?
it is. It is.
Well,
And I kind of knew that all along, and I was telling her that, right? Like, I find her to be incredibly, you know, intelligent and talented. And, I just always felt like as a teacher making 52,000 or whatever it was, just felt like there was much more impact that she could have on a broader group and probably get compensated better for her skills. Took her a long time to come around to that, because she's not like a money driven person. But I think she's seeing that now, like the impact she can have not only on our clients, but our clients' clients, and just the web that creates is I mean, I think it's meaningful to have 20 kids for 20 years, but it's like the impact of your life is defined by 400 children.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you could reach 400,000 children if you wanted to, right? And we talked about her opening a micro school and all the different ways that we could have her still pursue that same thing, but in a way that allows her to capture some of the upside, maybe. And again, I talk this way, but she does not think that way. But I think over the years we've kind of beat it into her a little bit. It's like, hey, you're worth a lot more than what the teaching world will pay you. So it's been cool to see her come around to that.
That's awesome.
Well, in a world that keeps talking work-life balance, how do you guys handle that? Being married and then working together, business partners, like how do you guys separate the two?
I think that it is an ongoing thing that we have to work on, right? Because it can bleed over. Sometimes I think, there's moments to show up. Like one thing we talked about recently was just finding the time to just be a married couple before we dive into work for the day. So it's like the first thing, when I wake up or she wakes up or we wake up together, whatever, like, let's not dive into work first thing. Like, let's just try to be us, for our home, for our kids, whatever. And then we can jump into work. So I think separating that is one of the reasons I joined here was, I think empowering someone, like giving them the space to make decisions and not be able to lean on you is important at times, right? Where it's like, if I'm there with her all the time, she will ask me every question. And the reality is that after she asks me the question, she'll probably tell me the answer before I even answer it. And so it's like, you knew the answer all along. If I wasn't here, you wouldn't even ask, right? And so creating a little bit of space to where I come up here, I work for 4 or 5 hours and she gets, her time at home or wherever she's working. And I think that's helped a lot. But work-life balance is something we don't have. So, it's like, I think we're work-life integrated in that, we can work from wherever, whenever. So sometimes that means working from midnight to 4 a.m. and, so that we can go do something with the kids or she can go do something with the kids during the day. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe you guys have gone through this too, but I feel like when you're building a business or when you're growing something, there's not going to be a lot of balance, right? Like a lot of times for us, she's working 12 to 15-hour days and I'll work 16 to 20 sometimes, and so like, for instance, right now, yesterday worked, the full day running our stuff. And then we're doing a big project for Walmart right now. And I was there overnight all night last night. Got out of there at 6. Yeah. We're doing, they're replacing all their cameras and, some TV, like those TV monitors that like show you shopping. We're replacing a bunch of devices and equipment for them. But it has to be done overnight because they won't close the stores. So, it's like, I'll go a full day doing the normal stuff and then, have to go get my guys and, go supervise this project overnight and then get out of there at 6. And now I'm sitting here with you at 1. And so it's like, and we've been running like that for years.
Yeah,
and I don't know when there's an end in sight, which can be a little bit
daunting.
Yeah, and it can make you question some things, right? Like, Am I doing the right thing? Am I even going anywhere?
Yeah.
But it seems to progress if you look at it in years instead of days and months.
Yeah.
Well,
it seems to move forward.
I think the best clip that I've seen when it comes to work-life balance was the president CEO of Coca-Cola. I think it was some Asian lady, or I forget what, but she was talking about, she goes, there's no such thing as work-life balance. Like, you're never going to be able to do that if you want to be successful. She's like, I remember, like, hey, my daughter came to me and told me that I was supposed to bake cookies for her school, and it wasn't. No one ever said anything. So like, I've been working all these hours, and the next thing you know, she's wanting me to make cookies for her class that's due the next morning, and I'm getting home at 8:00 at night, and I have nothing to bake cookies. And so she's like, there was no work-life balance there. She's like, so what I did is I got to the office, I called the chefs that are here at the office, and I said, hey, I need a bunch of cookies made for my daughter. So yeah, so there was no work. Like, I used my work to balance out my life.
Yeah.
And so it was a cool clip, but I mean, I agree with that. I feel like like what you said, when you're building a business, you know, you're putting a lot of time, like you're the person, you're putting a lot of time in that. And I think it's never going to be 50-50. It's, you know, some days are going to be 100 and 0. And some days might be, you know, 25% on the business side, but 75% on that. Like it's never going to be equal. And I think that was, I mean, I learned that obviously through my marriage. My ex-wife was a realtor. So we worked together and we still work together. And that was the thing. We worked really well together, but we didn't co-parent, we co-parented well together, but everything else was a problem,
Sure.
which we never put the time into that.
Yeah.
She was building her business. I was building my business plus raising 2 kids. Those were our focuses. And we didn't focus on anything else. I think as long as you're, like you said, you guys make the time before you even jump into work to kind of date each other and then jump into work. I think as long as you're putting time to it, it doesn't mean you have to put, you know, if it's going to be 50-50, it might be, hey, we just 20 minutes, 30 minutes here in the morning, taking a walk together and just having a conversation about everything else other than work while we drink a coffee or while we sit there drinking a coffee together. Like that's going to be more beneficial than trying to do anything else. Like, cause you're getting to deal with each other on a daily basis. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if I really look at how much time I actually spend with my wife every day, I mean, it's really like it's an hour and a half, maybe, you know,
We
like
spend
there's
more time together.
Yeah. Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. I always say
Yeah.
we're like married,
Yeah.
you know, like, I mean, we spend about 30 minutes together in the morning. And then at night when the kids go to bed, then we like hang out for an hour before one of us is falling asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
You know, like that is, I mean, Monday through Friday, that's our lives. And, you know, when people talk about work-life balance, you know, there's a quote I heard a while back and it's one that always just kind of pops in my head when this comes up. And it's, you know, there's no solutions, only trade-offs. And so it's, you know, there's not a solution to this work-life balance problems. It's trading one thing for another.
Yeah. Or you're just going to be mediocre at both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would rather be dominant in one and and then in the time that I allow for it, the best at that time.
Yeah.
You know, like, listen, I'm still trying to provide for my family, provide for my kids. And, you know, for me, like I need to dedicate 100% focus during the day to this, which means everything else is going to take a back seat. But when I give the time to those other things, it may only be an hour, it may only be 30 minutes. I'm giving 100% in those 30 minutes to an hour versus the, you know, 8, 10, 12, 14 hours that I'm doing 100% to this. So,
yeah. No, I agree. I think it's being intentional with your time and then just realizing that like at different times you have different priorities, right? And not trying, like, I think one thing I'm working on is not being so critical of the trade-off, right? It's like if you are committed to whatever the goal is, right? And you know there's going to be trade-offs, just not second guessing that, right? Like to me, providing is important, right? And obviously being there, you know, spending the time is also important. But like if I at this point in my life try to weigh, like would I rather be the dad that was at every baseball game, at every school event, at every single thing, or would I'd rather be the dad that built something that they have the option to step into? I think I would choose the latter as of today. And whether that's right or wrong, or selfish, which it could be, you know, I think the impact long term or the thanks that I'll get for creating something that, you know, it's like a lot of my closest friends, you know, they're now business owners and stepping into third generation businesses. And I can tell you that the way that they approach things, like they have the ability to prioritize their family a little bit more, I feel like, because they have a stable business that they stepped into. That business isn't going anywhere. And I think that's a different place to be coming from. And I would like, I don't know if it was Tony Robbins or Ed Milet said, you know, and I think about it all the time. He said, you know, in every family, there was one person that changed the entire trajectory of that family. And in my mind, if I have to be the one to sacrifice everything else to be that, I would do that.
Wow.
And that's the trade-off I think that I have made in my head. is that if the trade-off is that I'm not the best dad in the world, I don't think my kids are going to look back and hate me.
Right.
But I also don't think they're going to be like, Dad was always there and he sat on the floor and did crafts and did all this stuff. And it's like, to me, that's okay if I'm the one that their sons and their daughters, like, don't have to worry about paying for college or college debt or like any of that stuff that I had to deal with. Maybe you guys had to deal with. Not that it's a bad thing to pay for your own school or do those things, but I think, creating that and being the one is very important to me. And like, I struggle a lot with, so since I was 18 years old, I've had one goal and one kind of saying, and it's 100 million or bust. And the reason for that is when I worked at Merrill Lynch, I had clients, there was a couple, one particular couple, they were both corporate executives at publicly traded companies and, retired with probably in their mid 50s with, I don't know, $25 million worth of assets. And we would run these financial projections, and based on their spending, they were going to run out of money at like 85 years old. They were spending shitloads of money, flying private to all their sons, Stanford baseball games and all this stuff. But nonetheless, what it made me realize is that even at that level of wealth, there's still trade-offs and you're really not free. And so it was at that point, I think I was 21, 22, something like that. Said it's 100 million or bust. Like, I'd rather die broke than make the sacrifice like that. Like, have to choose, to live within this budget. It's like, if I'm, and it's, I may never achieve that. I think I will, but it's not really about the dollar amount. It's more about like the pursuit of something big, right? Mm-hmm. Something's crazy. When I said that to people 10 years ago, they're like, you're a fucking lunatic. But in reality, it's like, the fact that other people think that's not possible, I think that's why it is possible for me. Because I think like that.
Well, you look at any extremely successful person in history. If you like, I mean, pick whoever. If they would have sat down and told you what they wanted to do, they were all seemed crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I
prove them fucking wrong.
The more people tell me I'm crazy or I'm wrong or like you're doing the wrong, it's like, I'm pretty sure I'm going the right way.
Right.
Oh,
like
dude.
if I start hearing everyone saying like, oh, that's a really great idea. That's super cool. Like, can I get it? It's like, I'm going the wrong way here.
Yeah. The whole, I'm fueled by the proof, I'm going to fucking prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, the first few years of my real estate career, like, that was something that I thought about once is, I was in a business venture with someone and I decided I was going to step away because it was, there's a lot of things that were happening that we never agreed upon. And, I remember before I left, I was told, this is, you told me this is the only chance you ever have to be successful. And I pretty much walked out right after that. And that was just fucking that line stuck in my head. I'm like, I'm going to fucking prove this motherfucker wrong. Yeah. Like, and I did. And that first year in real estate, I made the kind of money that he told me after I worked there for a couple of years, I'd be making, and I'm like, yeah. Dude, like, fucking proved you wrong right there. And then I've just, kept that snowball rolling. And, I fucking am fueled by you can't do this.
Exactly. The contrarian mindset. And, it's like, don't put your limiting beliefs on me. Right. Like, yeah. Someone else, who are you to tell me what my limits are? Right. Maybe that's your limit.
Yeah.
But that's just purely between their ears, I think. Right. Like, which is, and I was talking to Josh out there. Every unlock I've ever had in business, right? Like going from whatever to six figures to multiple, like has been, I would have thought it was some strategy or some specific thing, paid ads, this, that. It's actually just been getting out of my own way, figuring out my own mental shit. Like working on yourself has been the unlock, like has been my unlock anyways, right? At every level, the only thing keeping me from it has been myself. And I think people get in their way a lot of times and don't set goals high enough. So I set the craziest one I could think of. I mean, 100 million, I think meant a lot more, when I was 18, 13 years ago. But nonetheless, it's still a worthy pursuit. Right. And I think the person you have to become to do that is a person I'd like to see. And I'm not there yet, but the pursuit of it is what keeps me going.
Oh yeah.
I think the one thing you said there was that I really liked, and we probably both resonate, is working on yourself, and it causes these unlocks for you. I mean, that's a powerful statement. What are some things that you do for yourself that help you unlock your potential?
Just 100% accountability, I think, is the biggest thing. Like, I think it's really easy to, especially like my wife and I have been together 11 or 12 years now. Should know the exact number, but it like, I think that, it's really easy to like try to blame your kids or your wife or your parents or the situation you grew up in. And the moment that it really all changed for me was when I just said, it's all my fault, no matter what. I control what I can control. Like for instance, I sent an employee to a project recently, utterly unqualified, unprepared to go do that. Should he have been? Like, was it purported that he could do these things when we hired him? 100%. But it is 100% my fault for not vetting that out. It's 100% my fault for not adding additional training on top of that for him. And so I've started to try to frame everything in a way that is my fault. I think that was a big unlock.
Have you read Jocko Willink's Extreme Ownership or any of that yet?
I've watched a lot of Jocko stuff. I haven't read the book.
It's very similar to what you're talking about. I mean, one of my favorite quotes, and this was, one thing that, with a question asked by a divorce attorney as well as this quote, really helped kind of get through the divorce and everything that happened. But the quote goes, paraphrasing, but as a leader, my actions or inactions will always have some sort of outcome or consequence. So basically, like you said, you're taking extreme ownership of everything. And, he also says there's no bad employees, just bad leadership.
Yeah.
And so being able to take that ownership and just be like, all right, yeah, no, because I mean, I've had people that have come to work for us that have failed, and it's just like, yeah, where did I fail? That's my fault that these people aren't being successful. There's no reason that I can't, if they've got the work ethic, that I can't teach them what they need to know to be successful within this business. And for me, like, yeah, same. Taking that ownership, and being asked, that Jocko quote, I mean, it's helped me with a lot of shit.
Yeah. And giving yourself some grace, I think, is another thing. Cause, with a goal like 100 million or bust doesn't leave you a lot of wins in between. Right. So, it's like you could get a win, but it's like, man, I'm not at 100 million yet. So I'm not happy. But I think learning to enjoy process, taking accountability, I think something, like the unlock right now that I'm going through is just people related. You need people to build a good business. And for a long time, even to some level still, my wife and I have a really hard time passing things off to others because we think we could do it better or faster, or it feels like slowing down to train someone. And then just how you communicate with people on the daily, right? Like I can be a pretty intense person, very goal driven. So it's like when someone is not, or they're being soft, or they're making excuse, like I will call them on their shit. And like, that's not always the most conducive thing for owning a business. I had a realization the other day with one of our clients. We had a project that was not the smoothest, right? And, they wanted us to do another one of them at a different location. And, I shot them a quote that was super duper high, purposely, right? Like, cause it was a difficult thing. And the person that I was interacting with, was just very abrasive, and like, it just made me not want to do work with them. And then their boss called me and was like, hey, like, we really need someone to do this. Like, how, just, he was very agreeable and just very, I don't know how to describe it, but just like what I took away from it was, and he was like the account executive or whatever, the highest person on this account that we're working on. And I realized that like a lot of the most successful people I see are just some of the most agreeable, not not that they're pushovers, but they're agreeable. They're not really trying to have conflict constantly. They're not um, beating their head. Like, they try to work with people, and it felt very easy to work with them versus the other person. And it just made me realize, like, these people that get to the very, very top of what they're doing, most of them are just really, really talented with people. They don't have confrontation. And if they do, they handle it in a way that's healthy and it doesn't leave a negative feeling. And so those are, some of the things. And I think we try to teach our kids, be good humans, be kind, be that. But in a stressful environment, and when there's money on the line, and, people are making you look bad or whatever it is, it can be really easy to, not be that. Right. And so it's something I'm trying to dial back the intensity a little bit, dial up the, emotional or the EQ, and I think that'll be a big unlock for me.
Yeah, the EQ side of things is huge. We talk about it a lot here, but there's there's 2 books: Emotional Intelligence and then Emotional Intelligence 2.
Yeah,
I read both of those, and they were phenomenal books.
really.
Yeah, just kind of teaches you different ways to, like you said, unlock things.
Yeah.
And I think part of it, this show being about manhood, and you can answer this out, but like I always think and I think, what was it? Alex said it best. He goes, I think as a man, gentleness, first thought. And I was like, well, I'll take it a step further. The emotional intelligence to know when to be gentle and when to be violent.
Yeah.
And, I just think having that EQ, and like, it was like, I've known people that have had high IQs, but low EQs.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met anybody that has a high EQ with a low IQ.
Yeah.
So, I just think it's extremely important.
Yeah. And I think people with high EQ, mask their IQ at times. And that's why they do understand the person, and they just meet them at their level.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They meet them where they're at. And so that it isn't super obvious in your face that they're really intelligent, because they're just meeting you where you're at. But that might be the most intelligent thing you could do.
Right.
So
that's the thing. And I think it was Josh that posted this question. So you should ask him about this too, and what he feels. Cause I specifically remember it, cause him and I had a discussion about it. He goes, what's more important, having a high IQ or a high EQ? And I said, that's why I was like, I just don't think you can have, I don't think you can have a high IQ, but low EQ, but you can't have a high EQ without a high IQ.
And there's a lot of very, very intelligent people that are, not where they would like to be, I think, or where they thought they would be.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think there's something to be said there that, I would argue EQ gets you further, probably.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Especially in a leadership role, right? Like, it's one
100%.
thing when you're in an individual producer role, but as soon as you step into that leadership role, it's everything, right?
Even if you're in an individual role, you're going to have to be dealing with people in
With the
some
clients,
way.
yeah,
With the
yeah.
client
Yeah.
in some sort of way, and that emotional intelligence is going to come into play.
Yeah. And maybe that's what when I say agreeableness, right? Like with these clients, it's like, they just have high EQ. Like, they understood that I was frustrated. They made me feel like, hey, we understand you're frustrated. Like, we're going to take care. Like, they just were very emotionally, in tune with like what was going on and how to de-escalate and get to the outcome they wanted ultimately, which is like, man, these guys are good salespeople. Yeah, they're good salespeople.
You guys are good.
But yeah, no, I think that's a huge piece. And it's like, when you're first starting a business, it really does, to your point, Pat, like, it feels like what it requires to go from 0 to 100 or to 250 or whatever it is, like that first milestone for you. It just takes brute force. It takes raw violence. But what it takes you to go from there to the next one is completely different, I think. And, I've done that first phase 3 or 4 times now successfully. Figuring out the next unlock is, I think that's where you got to start reflecting and be like, okay, in order to go to, 1 million, 2, 3, 5, 10, it's people, it's keeping people around, how you make them feel. And when you're really intense and you're brute forcing stuff, like, you'll hurt feelings. And in the long term, that's just going to keep you right where you're at, which I've seen personally, churning through employees and stuff like that. And some of that's me, these things we're talking about. Some of that's, probably the first 5 or 6 technicians and hires we had at the business had no training, had no onboarding, had nothing made for them. It was just like, come on in, we'll teach you on the fly. Right. And it's like, people expect these things, right? Like they expect to have a training, they expect to have an onboarding. The first 2 weeks, what does it look like? Just little things like that. It's like I started implementing those, people stuck longer, right? And then as you start treating them well, or taking them out to lunch, or getting to know their family and taking them out to lunch one time, it's like those little things make a huge difference. Understanding when their birthday is and sending them something, knowing that their wife just had surgery, and it's like all these little things that you can do that if you're so focused on brute force and just willing it into reality, like you're probably going to miss some of those things, which is going to ultimately just keep you in the rat race working 16 to 20-hour days like I am.
So you guys had your first kid while you guys were finishing college. How did that, teach you about responsibility and perspective?
Yeah. I think it made us grow up fast, man. We found out over the summer after our junior year. So we went into our senior year knowing, my now wife and I knowing that, that like it was coming and we were going to have him in March, and we weren't going to graduate till May. And so it's like, I can't even imagine. My wife must be so strong to walk around a college campus pregnant as hell her senior year of college. The judgment, all the stuff, I can't even imagine. I didn't think of it much then, but yeah, man, it was a lot. We had to grow up fast. We were 22 and had a kid, and I think a lot of people got to spend their 20s enjoying and making friendships and doing stuff. And, I dove straight into the work world, started selling satellite TV, solar door to door. And thankfully, I had to take that seriously, right? I had mouths to provide for, and bought my first house when I was 23. Probably not because I would have had I not had a kid, but because I had a kid. Like,
Yeah,
that's what you it's what you have to do, right? So I think it just made me grow up a lot faster. I think I don't regret at all missing things, but I do think there was, there's that 22 to 30 kind of range where people go out and they make good friends, and they make connections, and they travel, and they do a lot of stuff. And we didn't get that, which is fine. We got to raise 3 awesome kids, but yeah, man, it makes you grow up fast. So my hope is that we'll have them all out into the world when we're about 45. Here in 10 years from now, our oldest will go to college. So we've got, I don't know, 14 years here. And it's like, after that, man, it's time to party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's time to travel. It's time to have some fun.
Well, now you'll be able to afford it. So it'll be even more.
Yeah.
Sure. My mentor and the partner I worked for when I was at Merrill Lynch, she told me something anecdotally that she saw in her practice was that people that did really well financially, typically speaking, right? This is a generalization based on her sample size, but they either had kids very early or they had kids very late, right? Because if you have kids very early, you don't have any money anyways. So it's like, whatever. And you have enough time on the back end after the kids are gone to still ramp up your career. And when you have kids late, you have the whole front end of your career to ramp up. But when you have them right in the middle, you never really get fully ramped up on the front end. And then you don't have enough time on the back end to really ramp up. And so again, anecdotally, but I think she's served, I don't know, 300 or 400 clients over her time. And that is something that she saw, and I've kind of watched and seen. Is it's like, you may not be able to give your kids all the same stuff if you have them early as you would if you had them late, but you do leave yourself room on the back end. And so I do have, a lot of hope there that like after that we'll be able to, maybe it won't be ramping up the career because hopefully we'll have ramped it up, but like I've always wanted to live in New York City, so like I would love to just go get an apartment on Central Park for a year and just go experience living in downtown New York, having no car, walking everywhere, things like that, so it's like, I think about those things for, when we're 45, 50, like we're going to get to go do that stuff. And That'll be cool.
When you're still fair, you're still pretty young too.
Yeah.
I mean, being 50 now is completely different than it was, you know, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Like you see 50-year-olds walking around today and you're like, it's a hard time believing that they're 50. You know, I mean, there's people are taking way better care of themselves, and and we know so much more now about health and fitness and the and how important that is, and as long as you keep up with that throughout your life, like you can be way more able-bodied like into your later years.
And I want to be able to go, when my kids are in college, I want to go down and drink with them and hang out and have a good time. It's funny. My college roommate, his dad there was quite an age gap between his mom and his dad, but his dad was like 87 or 88 when we were in college.
Oh, wow.
So like, and I don't know if you guys ever hung out with folks that have, a little bit older parents, but they're a little different. It's, it's just like growing up around a 70-year-old, like when you're a baby is different,
it's wild.
like, but yeah, I mean, his mom was, I don't know, 30 years younger or something like that. He was I think in the 60s or something. He had one of the biggest, lawsuit. Like he had one of the biggest lawsuits in Illinois state history. I guess he did a class action lawsuit against a pharmaceutical company or something like that.
Okay.
And still holds
the bugs.
Yeah. And so, you can date people 30 years younger
can,
when you do that.
sure.
When you make a bunch of money, you can do that. So,
well, I mean, so speaking of the kids, and this is something that we talk about on here a lot, and having this show, if something were to happen to us, our kids can always come back and or even as they get older, they're like, oh, this is what our dads were like when they were in their 30s and so on.
Yeah.
What's one message you would want to leave your kids if they were to watch this, say 15, 20 years from
now? That I did it for them, that I wanted them to have what I didn't. And I wish I could be there more. But at the same time, I want them to know that hard work is important and pursuing what's meaningful to you, despite what society says you should do, is important. Follow your heart and don't give a fuck what anyone else says.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Because a lot of people will try to get you to go fit back into the box that they want you to fit in. And I just want them to be them. Because I don't know that I had the chance to be. I think it kind of got, like, I look at my oldest and he has a lot of the tendencies that I had, which I think got beat out of me a little bit, like not physically, but just your parents want you to be socially accepted. They want you to do well in the world, and they only do what they think they need to. And all I want for him, for my oldest and all of them, is just to be exactly who they are, with no worry that I'm judging them or anything else, right? I don't want them to be anything except what they want to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Beautiful. Love it, man. Well, Brennan, this has been amazing having you in here, man. Really enjoyed this conversation. Is there anything we didn't get to that you wanted to chat about?
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we do end the show the same way every time. So before we get you out of here,
play a little game. Call it the Tombstone game. Here lies Brennan. What's it say on your tombstone?
It says 100 million or bust.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I bet that's what it was in my head. That's amazing. I love it.
It was 100 million or bust, and you can put the scorecard on the tombstone.
Yeah.
Whoever writes that one up, we can put the scoreboard on there.
Love it. That's perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks to everybody that tuned into the episode here. If you could, please hit that subscribe button for us. Pat and I have a goal to get to 500 subscribers on YouTube before the end of 2025. So help us hit that goal, hit that subscribe button, share this episode with a friend, comment what you thought below, and we will see you next time.